This is the story of the Grand Canal in the northern province of Shandong. The Grand Canal moved from south to north, but we still tend to associate the Grand Canal with famous cities toward the south, like Hangzhou and Suzhou. But the Grand Canal would not be grand without the northern part as much as the southern. Today, in the city of Jining, in the southwest part of the northern province of Shandong, there is also a scenic spot dedicated to the Grand Canal. In Jining City's Grand Canal scenic spot, you can walk along willow trees near the waterside and get the same feeling for the elegance of the Grand Canal, even though you are in the rocky and mountainous region of the north. There is a special reason why the Grand Canal and its culture was important to a province like Shandong. Shandong has always played a central role in Chinese culture and civilization. It is impossible to imagine any history of Chinese civilization that does not devote special attention to the contributions emerging from Shandong province. It is not only the fact that Confucius himself was born in what is today Shandong in the state of Lu, it is also that Confucius traced his ancestors to the followers of the Zhou dynasty more than 500 years earlier, to approximately 1050 BC. That is, he expressed loyalty to the ideals of a unifying culture and shared philosophical values. This was not the first time that figures from Shandong dedicated themselves to transmitting Chinese culture, as Confucius himself would point out. Some of the oldest Chinese inscriptions and oracle bone fragments have been found in Shandong territory. It is a time-honored tradition as serving as a central link in the transmission of culture. And in the Grand Canal, Shandong province played an important role in linking northern and southern China. Here a special word must be said about geography. Shandong's very name testifies to the presence of mountains, even though most of the province is plains and hills. Still, in the very west center of the province, there is a formidable and stony mountain range. This is the location of the famous Mount Tai, one of China's most impressive mountain vistas. I myself have a happy memory of standing above the clouds on Mount Tai and watching the sun emerge with the dawn. Still, from a navigational perspective, this is no easy challenge. Keep in mind that with the establishment of the Yuan and Ming dynasties in the 13th and 14th centuries, the line that the Grand Canal took did not veer northwest toward the direction of Henan and Xi'an, but went straight north from Hangzhou in the direction of Beijing. This meant that it was harder to use existing waterways to avoid rises in elevation, and the problem of mountains must be addressed head-on. It is at this point that we must discuss the important innovation of what is called the pound lock. This is a technological innovation for which the civilization of China can claim special credit. Locks are engineering devices primarily designed to regulate the flow of water on a river or canal. Specifically, they help water flow in ways that it does not naturally flow, both upwards from lower to higher elevations, as well as downward, but in a controlled and regulated fashion. From very ancient times and reaching engineering sophistication by the Han Dynasty, Chinese builders would construct a device called a flashlock. This is something like a gate that could be lowered into the water so that the current would build up the water flow so that after a while, the boat could be carried over obstacles. As it sounds, the flashlock was difficult to use and not entirely reliable. The current could be too strong or too weak, and a boat that hit rocks on the bottom of the river could be very difficult to pull out. It was necessary to imagine a new way of changing the environment of the waterway itself. According to tradition and stories, the Chinese had invented this by the Song Dynasty, and the name of an engineer from the 10th century is often mentioned, Chao Wei Yo. This seems to be the pound lock, a device that famous historian of science in China, Joseph Needham, calls a Chinese invention. It is a series of two gates with a special device to drain water in or out. A boat traveling upwards, for example, would be moved between two gates and water would slowly be let in, often by side pools, so that it reached a level high enough to travel onward. Variants on this system are used almost everywhere today, but it seems to be what first allowed for the vision of a great and straight Grand Canal that moved northwards from Hangzhou to Beijing. This brings us back to Shandong, the province that played a key role in this era of the Grand Canal's history. The region around the Shandong city of Jining is already noted in Chinese history and culture. It is near Mount Liang, well known as the opening setting of the famous and still exciting novel of rebels against unjust authority, The Water Margin. We should also keep in mind that Mencius was born near today's Zhoucheng in southern Shandong. To this list, we should add the most northern remains of the traditional Grand Canal. It is not just heritage. It is a valuable reminder of the need to work responsibly in confronting environmental challenges, and to continue to make strong efforts to link regions together and allow for the greatest gift, our shared human contact.